There's a moment that happens to every man who has ambition, a moment of stillness right before the action. But instead of using that stillness to focus, he fills it with noise. What if this goes wrong? What if they judge me? What if I fail? Again, that voice of doubt becomes louder than his intention, and before he even moves, he's already defeated. Overthinking isn't just a bad habit, it's a mental prison. It's a way of giving your power away to imaginary outcomes. It's analysis, turned into paralysis, and if left unchecked, it will rob you of your confidence, your clarity, and your ability to act. Stoicism was built for this. It's not about silencing your thoughts. It's about reorganizing them. It's about choosing what deserves your attention and what doesn't, because you can't stop thinking, but you can stop overthinking. You can decide which thoughts get your energy and which ones pass, like clouds. That's where freedom lives. Overthinking usually begins with fear. Fear of judgment, fear of failure, fear of rejection. So the mind, in trying to protect you, runs simulations. It plays out worst-case scenarios. It rewinds conversations. It builds imaginary futures where everything goes wrong. And you think this is preparing you, but really, it's draining you. It's weakening your ability to stay in the moment. Stoicism teaches that the present moment is the only thing that's real. Everything else is projection. So if you want peace, you return to what is. The Stoic doesn't ignore the future. He plans, but he doesn't obsess. He knows that the only thing he truly controls is how he responds in the present, not what might happen, not what others think, just his mind, his choices, and his actions. And by mastering those, he reduces overthinking by 90%, because clarity is born in action, not analysis. Think about the last time you overthought something, a conversation you were supposed to have, a project you hadn't started, a message you were going to send. How much time did you waste trying to get it perfect? And in the end, did all that thinking help? Or did it just make you more anxious, more insecure, more frozen? The Stoic doesn't wait for the perfect moment. He creates it by stepping forward, by doing what needs to be done, by acting with integrity, even when the path isn't fully clear. That's the thing most men forget. Confidence isn't the absence of doubt. It's action in the face of doubt. It's choosing movement. When your mind screams hesitation, it's sending the message, lifting the weight, walking into the room, even with the butterflies in your chest. Every time you take action, despite the noise in your mind, you reclaim authority over your thoughts. Overthinking often comes from a lack of trust. You don't trust your instincts. You don't trust your decisions. You don't trust yourself to handle what happens next. So you stay in your head. You run loops. You research more. You rehearse more. But none of that builds trust. Only action does. Only results do. And results don't come from planning alone. They come from execution. Stoicism simplifies the complex. It takes the endless what-ifs and brings you back to one question. What's in your control? If the answer is nothing, you release it. If the answer is something, you do it. No in-between, no lingering in limbo, just clarity, followed by action. You overthink when you try to control things that were never yours to control. Other people's reactions, timing, outcomes. You assume more thinking will give you more certainty. But most of life isn't certain. Most things won't go exactly as you planned. The Stoic accepts that. And because he accepts it, he moves with more grace, more resilience, more power. Start small. The next time your mind starts racing, pause. Ask yourself, is this useful? Is this getting me closer to a decision or keeping me stuck? Then bring your attention to your breath, to your body, to what's right in front of you. The present always cuts through the fog. When you're grounded, overthinking loses its grip. Build rituals that reduce mental noise. Morning clarity time, evening reflection, writing down your biggest worry of the day, and asking, what's the first step? Not the whole plan, just the first step. Then take it, immediately, before your brain has a chance to talk you out of it. The more you do this, the more you'll see your mind calm itself, because it trusts you now. You've shown that you don't just think, you act. Stoicism isn't about eliminating emotion or thought. It's about choosing which ones serve your highest self. The Stoic man uses his thoughts. He's not used by them. He lets doubt pass through. He lets fear inform, but not decide. He's aware of the noise, but not controlled by it. That's why he moves faster, leads better, sleeps deeper. Overthinking often disguises itself as responsibility. You think the more you think, the more you care. But caring isn't overthinking. Caring is doing. Real responsibility is not mental chaos, it's mental clarity. And that clarity only comes when you make space for it. When the Stoics practiced negative visualization, they weren't dwelling on doom. They were preparing their minds, imagining worst-case scenarios, so that when life delivered discomfort, it wasn't a surprise. It was a familiar visitor. Overthinking is fear of discomfort. But once you stop fearing it, the thoughts lose their power. You don't fear rejection if you've already accepted it as a possibility. You don't fear failure if you've trained yourself to learn from it. Ask yourself this: what has overthinking cost you in the last year? Opportunities? Relationships? Sleep? What did all those extra thoughts actually solve? Now ask yourself, what would be possible if you trusted yourself more? If you moved quicker? If you acted with a calm mind, not a chaotic one? That's the promise of Stoicism, not to give you all the answers, but to free you from the illusion that you need all the answers to begin. You begin with what you know. You act with what you have. You move with presence. That's where momentum lives. That's where your next level begins. So, the next time your mind starts spinning, return. Return to your breath. Return to the moment. Return to your values. Return to the next right thing. And then, do it. Even if it's imperfect, even if it's small, even if your voice shakes, that step will give you more clarity than 100 more thoughts ever could. Your mind is powerful, but only when you lead it. Stoicism teaches that leadership starts within, and that your peace isn't found in thinking harder. It's found in thinking less and acting more, with calm, with courage, with clarity. That's the way forward. But here's the truth most men never hear until it's too late. Overthinking is just a habit, not a destiny, not a personality trait, a habit. And like any habit, it can be broken, replaced, rewritten. You don't need another 30-day challenge. You don't need another book collecting dust on your shelf. What you need is a shift, not in your calendar, not in your environment, but in your mindset. A return to what's essential, to what's real, to what you can control. And that's where this channel, Stoic Rain, becomes more than content. It becomes your mirror, your map, your morning wake-up call, and your evening anchor. Because this isn't just philosophy for the bookshelf. This is the operating system of the strongest men in the world, the ones who don't flinch under pressure, who lead with calm, who move while others hesitate. So if you're tired of drowning in your own thoughts, if you've been silenced by indecision, frozen by fear, paralyzed by perfectionism, if you're ready to stop being a spectator in your own life, and finally step into the arena, then don't just scroll past this, subscribe. Because every week we're breaking the noise. We're going deeper. We're not chasing quick tips. We're building unshakable foundations. We're sharpening the mental armor that protects your purpose, your peace, and your power. Hit that button. Turn on notifications, not for me, for you, for the man you're becoming, because one day, maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but one day, life will test you. A relationship will collapse. A job will disappear. Someone will disappoint you deeply. And in that moment, your strength won't come from motivational quotes. It will come from this work, from the mornings you showed up here, from the words that restructured your thoughts, from the choices that rewired your response. So subscribe not just to a channel. Subscribe to a standard, a higher one. This is your reminder: clarity over chaos, action over anxiety, discipline over drama. You don't need to fix the whole world today. You just need to lead yourself, starting now. This is Stoic Reign, and your reign starts here.